Hello everyone. I wanted to do a less serious poem because the one I done yesterday or the day before, I don't know, who can tell these days, it could have been any point in time. It's just been one long day melting into one horrendous moment. It hasn't really been horrendous, it's been alright, it's been tough. But I wanted to do a more light-hearted one. Silly, really, you could even call it a bit childish. But I am a big child at heart, as I think we all are. I mean, if you've grown up, what are you doing, man? You've lost your way. What are you doing? Let go of that adult shit. It's not working. Just doesn't work. Yeah, this poem, the bit what's in it is made up, the events, but it is based about me and my brothers, and it's kind of a nice story for everyone, I think. I hope you enjoy it. I'm making this all up as I go along, apart from the poem, but I am reading that because I haven't learnt it. It's called Just a Moment. I once queued for 2 hours just to ride a roller coaster, and I wouldn't really have minded, but in 2 minutes, it was over. It was all up and down and round, then I was sent off on my way. You've had your bit of fun, my son, now get on with your day. And I was left feeling a bit bewildered. See, my two brothers and I had queued so long to take that ride, to feel the thrills, the lows, the highs, and in the blink of an eye, it went by. And I remember thinking that's just like life. It's a very familiar story. We all want the ride, we all seek the highs, and the rest is seen as boring. Then I thought back to that queue and those slow 2 hours waiting. See, when we first arrived, it was all anticipating. It was all excitement, electrified. It was all, we're finally in the line. But before too long, we realised we were going to be there for some time. So we stood there in our silence, searching eyes while no one spoke, which isn't too unusual because we are all manly blokes. We often stand there silent with the odd nod to each other, but that never lasts too long because we're not just blokes, we're brothers. So the middle one leans in and says, "I've just farted," and he laughs. The young one pulls a face, retreats a pace, that seems to break the ice. And I say, "Jordan," the middle one, "you couldn't have waited until we got on." He said, "Dude, I'm worried if I'd done it on there that more would come out of my bum." Huh, brothers. See, when we're alone, we're grown. But when we get... see, we've grown. When we're alone, we're men. But when we get together, we're just little kids again. See, we're all smiling, proud, like idiots now. Smiling and laughing, which is smiling really loud. There's some disapproving looks, some smirks, but most people just don't care. They all seem much the way we do, just tired of waiting there. So we start to stare as people do when stuck for long waits in long queues, except there isn't much to look at, save the roller coaster's build. And that just raises safety questions, and the fact we could be killed. I mean, it's unlikely, highly unlikely, but once thought, that thought can't stop. And when you see the reality of the ride, what stops is not a lot. It's not the metal and the nuts and bolts that put its integrity in question, but the staff are the ones that make sure it's safe, and they don't give off that impression. Anyway, after accepting our mortality and then saying it's worth the risk, deciding that dying made it more exciting says much about how we three tick. The young one, the young brother, then cheekily says, "Did you see the size of that girl's breasts?" So I reply, "Dude, you shouldn't objectify women like that. They didn't struggle under patriarchal rule, so some prat could gawp and drool. They deserve to be respected for all they still endure. Imagine if Mum saw this behaviour, she would hit you with the book." Then as I climb down off my high horse, of course, I take a look, and they were impressive. He was right, and I stand by what I said. But this girl deserves a special mention for carrying around 2 extra heads. See, the thing is, we pass those slow-lived hours laughing, chatting, interacting. All the little things we let slip by, for in truth, we were connecting. And it's hard to keep this in our minds when taking part in this wild ride, getting thrown around Emotion Town in roller coaster life. But I realise more as time goes on, the ride's not what we need. The highs, the lows, the thrills, the spills, the face-distorting speed. It seems to me that it doesn't mean as much as those bits in between, the gentle curve where we share our words, where people really meet. See, I can't remember that thrilling ride. It was all over far too fast. But the memories of standing in that line, those memories will last. I hope you enjoyed it. I clearly muffed some of it up, but that all adds to the authenticity of it, I believe. Thank you very much. Stay safe, mates.